Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I'll be there. What? I hate this sign, especially when I'm on a call and my phone beeps suddenly to show me this sign. Doesn't this sign bother you as well? Okay, then imagine you're watching a very interesting show on your tablet and it stops all of a sudden at a cliffhanger and you see this sign flashing on the screen. It's really annoying, right? And we all know what this sign means. It means that you need to charge that piece of equipment and you have to do it now. Although let me tell you something. All you have to do is plug the device into your charger and the magic of electricity does the rest for you. The battery sign turns to green from red and our very annoyed state of mind turns into a pleasant one. Now, I don't have to emphasize on the importance of electricity, do I? We need it all the time. It is an undoubtedly important necessity of our lives. And because it is so important to us, let me try and tell you how it actually works. So before heading into the bigger topic of electricity, let us get to the root of this concept. We know that everything is made up of atoms and that atoms have three main subatomic components: the protons, the neutrons in the nucleus, and the electrons orbiting around that nucleus, as we can see here. We also know that an atom is electrically neutral or balanced because the positive charge that its protons carry equals the negative charge of its electrons. Now, if we are saying that the positive charge equals the negative charge, does that mean that we can actually measure charge? Well, it turns out we can. And the SI unit of a charge is called a coulomb, which is denoted by the symbol C. We already know that an electron possesses a negative charge of 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and a proton has a positive charge of 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. This means that to obtain 1 coulomb of charge, we need almost 6 into 10 raised to 18 electrons or protons. Now, generally, only the outer electrons, also known as the valence electrons, that is the electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom, take part in any reaction. And because these electrons orbit far from the atom's nucleus, they experience less nuclear attraction and thus are loosely bound. Because of this, they can be easily transferred from one atom to another. You may have heard of the law of conservation of energy, which states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Electricity works on that very principle. In any system, electric charge can neither be created or destroyed. It is only transferred from one object to another. So, does it really mean that you can't create electric charge? Not really. What it means is that the net charge in the universe, that is the amount of positive charge minus the amount of negative charge, is always the same. So every time you create a negative charge, an equal positive charge is also automatically created. This means that although you can't create or destroy energy, you can create an electric current. And what is electric current? It is simply the flow of electric charge. If electric charge flows through a conductor, we say that there is an electric current in the conductor. Current comes from an electric potential differential or voltage, which is defined as the work done to move a unit charge from one point to the other. Okay? So the potential difference denoted by V between 2 points is equal to the work done denoted by W upon charge Q. Hold on. Let's fully understand this with the help of an example. So consider this. We take one positive charge and another negative charge and we place them together. Since the charges are opposite, they will attract each other. Given that these two charges sit next to each other and are as close as possible to each other, there is no movement of any of these charges, hence there is no work done. Let's get a little more technical using the same example. Say I take a particle carrying 1 coulomb of negative charge and another particle carrying 1 coulomb of positive charge and place them next to each other. What do you think will happen? Since opposite charges attract each other and the positive charge is as close as possible to the negative charge, they will be at a state of rest. We all know that objects at rest only have potential energy and no kinetic energy. So even the charges only have potential energy owing to their position and therefore no work will be done. Now to break the force of attraction between the charges, say I provide some energy to the positive charge, which moves this charge from its current position A to another position B. Since the positive charge is deficient in electrons and the negative charge has extra electrons compared to the positive one, there is a difference in their potentials and this is called potential difference. If we now release the charge or energy from point B, it would move back to the negative particle at point A. Why does this happen? Because as soon as the charge is released, the negative and positive charges get attracted to each other again. We know that the unit of energy is the same as that of work. So we can say that since 1 joule of energy was provided to the positive charge, the work done by it is also 1 joule. Or in terms of electrostatistics, the positive charge has a potential of 1 joule at point A. And the difference in the potential between point B and point A is called the potential difference or voltage, which in this case will be 1 joule upon 1 coulomb, since the potential of positive charge at point A is 1, while the potential of negative charge is still 0. Got that? Before going any further, let's look at the SI units of these terms. In honor of Italian physicist Alessandro Volta, who invented the electric battery, the SI unit of electric potential difference is called volt and is denoted by a capital V and is measured using an instrument called voltmeter. 1 volt is the potential difference between 2 points when 1 joule of work is done to move a charge of 1 coulomb from one point to the other. Therefore, 1 volt is equal to 1 joule divided by 1 coulomb. Now, if we simplify the above equation, we can get 1 volt is equal to 1 joule into 1 coulomb raised to -1. Since we already saw this in an example, I hope this definition is even clearer to you now. Also, this transfer of energy or flow of electric charge is what is called as current. Did I just confuse you with all the new terms? Let's see if taking another example will help us get clarity on these things. If you take a tube and place it horizontally, water will not flow from one end to the other. The reason being that both the ends of the tube are at the same level and the water will hence remain static. However, if you connect the tube to a tank placed at a higher level and consequently higher pressure, water will flow from the tank through the tube to the other end. So we can see that whenever there is a pressure difference between 2 points of the tube, water flows through it. And this holds true for electricity as well. When a voltage or a potential difference is applied, the electrons start to flow. And when this potential difference is removed, the flow will stop. You see, the atoms in a conducting material, say a wire, carry a large number of free electrons. Now, these electrons move around in all positive directions, from atom to atom and everywhere in between. However, the motion of these electrons is so random that there is no net current flow in any particular direction. They are just moving around randomly. When we apply potential difference, electrons become directional, as you can see in the diagram. And all the electrons move in the same direction. See? Let's study this in detail. When we apply a voltage to a conducting wire using an electrical source like a battery, the potential difference between the positive and the negative terminals of the battery causes all of the free electrons to move in the same direction. That is, they flow from negative to the positive terminal, creating a current. Got that? Let's go back to our water example. Suppose we have a tap connected to the tank, and you can attach the tube to this tap. Now, if you fully open the tap, the water will come gushing out at full speed. But as you close the tap, the amount of water flowing through the tube will also decrease. The stream will become thinner. Yeah? Similarly, varying the voltage can increase or decrease the flow of electricity. Let's now look at electric current in a little more detail. Let's start with the definition. TutorMate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.